What up, YouTube? It's your boy G YouTube back at it again with another video for you. And without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. So I think it's around that time where we should start reevaluating the Milwaukee Bucks, because right now Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have just made a fool out of the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I really don't think it would be too bad if the Bucks were getting, beat up by Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. But the fact that James Harden has played 35 seconds in this series, I think that's about it. He was gone within the first minute of game one. It's not even like he played game one and he was, beating up on them and then he left in like the second half of game one or halfway. Nah, this man was done with a right hamstring injury from like the jump, and they're getting destroyed by Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And Joe Harris is balling out too, and they just can't seem to stop Blake Griffin coming off either. Just dunking on. Y'all saw that play where he dunked on Giannis and all that. So I really don't understand, because for one, James Harden was traded in the middle of the season, or like towards the beginning of the season, and in order to trade for him, they traded away a lot of their depth. So they traded away their depth in order to get the superstar so they can have more superstar power. And now that superstar that is gone, and so is all the depth that they had before in Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. More particularly Karis LeVert, who's another great scorer, not as great as Harden, can't do everything as great as Harden, and a seriously great defender in Jared Allen. Like, the fact that this game is not even close, that these games are not even close, is just atrocious. Like, I'm not going to put that all on Giannis. I also think Mike Budenholzer has a lot to do with this, because, my man, can you give me some type of adjustment? Throw some type of different defense out there? You're just letting Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving put whoever offense on y'all, and putting whoever, they're going up against on an island. They're not trying to consistently throw doubles, throw different, switch off the screen, hedge off the screen. They're not consistently doing something different or something new whatsoever on defense to try to slow them down, or even drop some plays for Giannis and somehow to get Middleton going. Because when your second leading scorer in Chris Middleton is struggling like this, you have to find plays to get him going, and they have not done that whatsoever. So I feel like there's just no excuse for you to be down by, at one point, 47 points in game two. Y'all look like a JV team out there. Like, bruh, 47 points at some point in the third quarter, I believe. That's ridiculous. Or it was in the fourth. It was one of the two. Like, it was bad, man. And they just look like they're not playing with any heart. In the entire series right now, Brooklyn is averaging 120 points a game. Milwaukee is only averaging 97. Not only is one of the more efficient offenses in the league getting shut down below 100 points by one of the worst defensive teams we've ever seen in the NBA, because they just decided to give up and not try to fight their way back out of a deficit. They just seem like lost out there. And obviously, there's a saying, oh, it's not a series until the road team wins a game, something like that. But they're down 2-0, and if they don't win this next game, the Bucks are getting swept. Period. I think a lot of it does also have to do with Giannis. Right now, Giannis is averaging 26 points, 11 boards on 1.5 blocks. And I think he's shooting like 60-something% from the field, 63. I don't know. Let me get the stat. All right, so he's shooting 61.5% from the field. I mean, that's all good and dandy, but my man, it's the playoffs. Like, you were averaging 28, 11, and 5 on 60% shooting in the regular season. Now, your points per game went down slightly, and everything else basically remained the same. You cannot go into the playoffs being a superstar and not elevate your play. That's something that just cannot happen. You have to elevate your level of play beyond what you were doing in the regular season. And I think that Giannis hasn't consistently done this and shown up to the playoffs and outplayed whatever we saw, from his MVP form, winning back-to-back MVPs the last 2 years. I would just expect more from the reigning MVP and just someone of Giannis's caliber. But, some people don't always have it in them. Does Giannis have that in him? I'm not sure. Right now, he's not showing it to us. He hasn't shown it to us in any of the playoff series he's been in before. So let's just look at every single playoffs that Giannis has played in for the past. Let's just look at the past 4 seasons. So that'll include his 2 MVP seasons. All right. 2017, 2018, he averaged 25.7 points on 9.6 boards and 6.3 assists. In 2018, 2019, 25.5 points, 50% from the field on 12 rebounds a game, 5 assists. 2019, 2020, 26.5 points, 56% from the field on 14 boards, 5.5 assists. And this season, he's averaging in the playoffs 24 points on 50% shooting, 14 boards, 6.5 assists. Now, while these numbers are all good and dandy, he's been doing the same thing that he's been doing in the playoffs. Whereas if you look at, any significant star player who's played in the playoffs and has made a deep playoff run, they have all elevated their game to the next level. Look at what Kawhi is doing with the Clippers right now. He definitely wasn't doing that, and Mr. Load Management definitely wasn't doing that in the regular season. Obviously, he was doing his thing in the regular season, but he's elevated his level of play to get them past that first series where they went 7 games. My man went crazy to get past Luka. And same thing with LeBron in previous years, not this year, but previous years. You see LeBron always elevate his play in the playoffs. Every single superstar that you can think of, even Jayson Tatum, he has elevated his play in the playoffs. I mean, he was going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Not much he could do there. He doesn't have the supporting cast around him to compete with the Nets. Most teams don't. But even in a losing effort, he's done it. And consistently here, you see Giannis just does not do that. So does he have it in him? He's still kind of young. He still has time to do that. But if I want to build around someone, that's supposed to be the cornerstone of my franchise, I want them to elevate their play in the times that you need it most. Right now, this man is looking like Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's just disappearing. Well, not disappearing, but he's not playing above what he's supposed to be playing. Basically, when you come into the playoffs, your baseline is what you did in the regular season. That is your floor. That is now your floor. You now have more expectations because what you did in the playoffs or in the regular season is not going to get you far in the playoffs. You have to play out of your mind because every single game you're going up against is against teams who are game planning, strategizing against you, and they're good on top of that. So that you have to play above that baseline at the very minimum, because that is your floor and that is what you are expected to do on a night-to-night basis, on a regular night-to-night basis. This is not a regular night-to-night basis. You have to play like you really want it, and this is not something that we've seen out of Giannis. This is just not something that we've seen out of Giannis. He doesn't play above his means. So, I mean, it's obviously not helping that Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton is shooting like 30-something% from the field, and Drew Holiday is shooting like 40. That doesn't help the Milwaukee Bucks case, but still, they got to do better. Giannis has to do better and carry his team as a superstar, as the leader of your team. That's something you have to do. He hasn't delivered on that. Like I said, I think that the lack of adjustments from Budenholzer, I think he's a terrible coach. Probably should have been fired 2 years ago when we already saw this man doesn't know how to make adjustments for a playoff team. Like, all right, there's one thing about making adjustments and they don't work, or you're just going up and getting outmatched by a team that has more talent. But there's no excuse right now when you have James Harden not playing, and you have the reigning MVP on your team. That's just inexcusable at this point. So if they get swept here, Budenholzer's gone. Giannis is going to be disgruntled. I don't know if he'll force his way out of Milwaukee. I feel like it might be a little bit too early for Giannis's patience level, because Drew Holiday hasn't been playing bad, but he's been playing below what he's capable of overall. He's not playing as good as he did in the regular season, which is also just inexcusable. So that does not help Giannis's or the Bucks' case, but still, it's not an excuse, man. You're the superstar. You have to make it so that there's no scapegoating yourself. That's how you have to play in the playoffs. Like with Luka, you see what Luka did in the first round against the Clippers? Do you think that was Luka's fault? Not at all. He did everything he could in the games that he was given. That there is absolutely no scapegoating Luka, without a doubt in your mind. Without a single doubt in your mind. You'd be like, man, the Mavericks, Luka deserves better than the Mavericks. That's what the conclusion that you came from that series, from what Luka did. But that's not how you're coming off with Giannis. If Giannis is averaging 35 points right now on 50-60% shooting, then you could maybe say, dang, maybe the Bucks are failing him right now. But right now, Giannis is failing the Bucks. But that's really all I got to say on this. Game 3 is tomorrow night. We'll see if the Bucks have any fight, any pride left in them right now. But Kevin Durant has taken their hearts, and it's just tragic to see. Absolutely tragic. This is, in my opinion, probably the demise of the Milwaukee Bucks as they are currently constructed. But that's just me. That's just my take, unfiltered, raw, and that's all I gotta say. So until the next video, wait, hold up. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. Leave a comment, sub. I already said that, but it really helps the channel grow. I appreciate all of y'all who come and watch my videos. We're gonna continue to grow and keep pumping out these videos. And so now, after I have thanked all of you, my loyal following, now I'm out.